Ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk again about the overwhelming level of abduction taking place in our country. And I want to explain to you why these abductions are taking place. And I want to say that these Gen Zs are actually unstoppable. Let me explain to you why these Gen Zs are unstoppable. And I want to begin by example when we were in primary school. I remember when I was in primary school, there was a teacher who was called Mrs. Olaktar. She was teaching us home science. And she was talking about reproductive system. I remember those words are not very comfortable thing to discuss when you're in class 7 especially. And when the teacher was talking about them, there are some very uncomfortable things she was talking about. Then one of my classmates, who was actually my cousin, called Salim Olangboto. Salim Olangboto carried his hand on top of my head like this. Then the teacher thought I'm the one who carried my hand. Because she was talking about an uncomfortable thing. When I said I didn't carry up my hand, she got so mad. And then told me she was expelling me from school. And she beat me thoroughly. I had never been beaten very hard than that day. And she told me, I'm sending you home. Do not come back to school until further notice. And of course, I misinterpreted the word further notice. I thought that until further notice means until my father comes and gives a notice. And of course, when I came with my father, I told them that you told me I cannot come back to school until further notice. So I have come with my father to give the notice. The whole staff room laughed until one of the teachers fell down. And when the teacher fell down, one of them was called Mr. Winorachar. One of them laughed, and then they said, okay, forgive this boy. He's very innocent. It seems that even what you expect he has done, he has not done. So I want to relate to this to many people. For the kids who are very intelligent in primary school and secondary school, whenever you challenge the teacher with their intelligence, you are beaten thoroughly. Some of them were expelled. Some of them were suspended. Some of them were mishandled because they were just intelligent, way more intelligent than their incompetent or not so intelligent lecturers or teachers who were teaching them. I also remember when I was an academic director in Strathmore Business School. As academic director, one of my work was to select a lecturer, give them students to teach, then evaluate the lecturer from just to say their performance in terms of preparation before class, delivery during class, level learning in the class, then level of participation of the class. I could do all those analyses. And I found out that something has happened that everybody didn't notice by that time. As a young lecturer, I noticed that some of my older counterparts were thinking that knowledge resided on them as professors. But let me tell you what, the center had changed. The center changes whereby students now have access to technology. They have access to internet. They do their own independent research before any class. So when you're coming to class by saying, in marketing, we have 5 Ps, they tell you there are 7 Ps. And you also remember, if you say there are 7 ingredients of business model, actually there are 10. So you realize as a class before, only the lecturer who has a textbook had access to knowledge. But it changed totally, whereby you are just a facilitator. So now that is what is happening currently with the current government, where they're thinking they're actually in control. I remember there's a time when I had to tell another lecturer, excuse me, don't come to class and tell us how many books you've written. These students want to know what will they do with the knowledge after you teach them. When they go to work on Monday, how do they begin their work differently? How do they deal with the challenges that are affecting their businesses? For example, the economic situation is bad. There's high taxation environment taking place. There's a lot of issues or challenges of getting the right people to place or work, human resource challenges. Technology disruption is taking place that are affecting businesses. And of course, globalization is also affecting. How do they deal with it? Don't tell them that I've written 10 books and read my book before you talk to me. Those things ended a long time ago. So what I guess is happening now with the Gen Zs is that they are trying to behave like older lecturers who have notes which are called yellow pages, and they are thinking the yellow pages will work. Give these yellow pages to Gen Z. They'll use AI to correct every wrong thing with them. Then you'll find that your notes are totally different. So it seems President William Ruto and the current government should be using these yellow pages to rule this country. Yellow pages means that you're using the constitution that Moi used to rule Kenya, but you don't know there's the constitution 2010. But also remember, there was no internet penetration to the level we have in Kenya now. There was no phone penetration. Like now, the Kenya phone penetration is more than 100%, means that some people have 2 lines, some have 3 lines. Some of them, because of Fuliza, have 10 lines. Some of them have 7 lines. So that Fuliza akishika, Master Fund imeshika ile ingine, anaruka kwa ingine. So hiyo ni shida imeshika wa Kenya. So what I'm trying to say is that the internet penetration, the phone penetration, and knowledge transfer in this world is incredible. These young people can see what somebody at their age is doing in Russia, in the US, in Japan, in Korea, and the rest, and they can benchmark and relate. For example, look at the Gen Z revolution. Nigerians are trying to pick it up. Look at Kenyans trying to imitate what happened in Bangladesh or what happened in Cote d'Ivoire. So these are young people you are dealing with. They are not the young people like us who live in the village, who never even knew that there's so many kilometers of tarmac road outside their village. Like for me, I saw tarmac for the first time when I was going to Form 4. So we cannot be compared with someone who saw tarmac. Now, these guys saw tarmac, they saw television when they were boys, they played with their iPhone when they were actually 2 years, 3 years. So how can you control those people? So what I want to tell these people is that Kibaki educated the Gen Z. That is the one thing you have to know. There was free primary education. So many of them went to school. Some of them got scholarship afterwards and went abroad. Some of them even went within and got so much level education. And internet allows them to experiment with nearly everything. And for some of us who are born before computer, BBC, born before computer. So if you are born before computer, can you be better than someone who found computer working? If you are born before computer, can you compare the Gen Z who can generate an AI image of whatever you are seeing on the social media I want to talk about? Because me, I have some kind of respect for the institution of this country. So what I want to tell these people is that these people have knowledge. So what should the government of Kenya do, especially the DCI, the intelligence secretary? What I can tell you, do your intelligence and do this. Instead of abducting these people because they are intelligent, they are educated, they are knowledgeable, they are exposed, they are well-traveled, and they are well-connected, what you need to do is check what Japan is doing with the young people who know technology. Check what South Korea is doing with them. Check what the US is doing with them. Check what Germany is doing with them. Check what China is doing for them. They are being used as hubs of innovation. Instead of arresting this man who's intelligent, the government was expected to create jobs for these people, create technology for these people. You talk about the ICT centers, which are not there. Put them in place, put these students, these young Gen Zs into the ICT centers to come with the next revolution that can bring treatment in cancer, breakthrough in science, breakthrough in engineering, breakthrough in the space, breakthroughs. Now you see, for example, what Elon Musk is doing in the US. We want the Elon Musk to come from these Gen Zs you're putting in the cell. Instead of taking an intelligent man like Kibet and disappearing with him, why don't you ask him, instead of generating this image, what can you generate? Maybe Kibet will tell you, there's something I can do. Muteti will tell you as well. Mwangi will tell you as well. Let us use these people's intelligence to deny them the chance of doing those things we don't like them to do. Because I was told when I was a young boy that if you tell a child to stop playing with water, tell them to play with a ball. You can't tell me, don't play with water, but there's no option. So these guys are looking for alternative. Where can they channel their intelligence to transform this country? Because the Gen Zs are more intelligent than the government officials. I can tell you, mark my words. I've heard them telling them children, telling them stupid, idiots. They are not idiots. They are not stupid. They are super intelligent, and also they have access to state-of-the-art technology and advancement in science. With those things in mind, you cannot control these people. I can tell the president, I can tell us advising me, I'm an academic, I'm not interested in politics, I don't want to do name calling. I can just tell you, sit up with an intellectual like us and tell us what can we use these Gen Zs better than putting them in a cell. Me, I was a professor. When I was the Muslim of the city, I was arrested and I was in cell 4 times. There's a time the arrest me took me to Central. Another, I don't know, in Mudangari. I don't know where. But all was because we are simply expressing our dissatisfaction. So when these gentlemen are saying, stop corruption. Let us have integrity. Let us have accountability. Let us provide the solutions on youth unemployment. Let us lower the cost of living. Ask them how can they use AI to solve those problems than to abduct them. Remember, do you know why people will beat you when you say something intelligent because they can't argue with you. They cannot engage you intellectually. Your intellectual wavelength and their wavelength is so far. The intellectual distance between the Gen Z and this government is very far because there's a lot of incompetence in this government. This government suffers mainly from gross incompetence and also grossly lacking in integrity. If they solve those problems, then they even ask the Gen Z to use their AI technology to come with solutions to reduce corruption, come with the solutions to be able to grow this economy, come with solutions to increase their competence, because that guy to do things, what Gen Zs were doing during the demonstration, they're very clever. Remember, Gen Z managed to break into parliament in a demo. Imagine since Raila Odinga, plus all the well-known demonstrators, they have never ever cracked what the Gen Z did on 25th of June 2024 by cracking to enter parliament, MPs running away in ambulance. Even the speaker was put in ambulance running away as if he was sick. These people are on another level. We entered parliament. I was in this movement. I'm no longer in that movement, but I was in that movement. And we managed to do things unheard of. And for the intelligence, the collective intelligence of the Gen Z plus the Gen X and the millennials together that made people enter parliament, you cannot finish in adoption. And that route of believing on when you have a hammer, everything looks like a nail. Abduction will not be the single tool to bring down this Gen Z movement. Let us engage them. Let's use their intellect well, like Japan is doing, like South Korea is doing, like Germany has done, India has done it. Why not Kenya? Thank you very much. God bless you and God bless Kenya.